How's it going, everyone? VenomousStare. Today I have a 1v1 game between two top-tier Korean players, True and Polt. Now, these finals took place in DreamHack Montreal, and this is a best of 7. I'll be casting the entirety of the series, so between 4 and 7 games, and they'll all be on this channel, and I'll just be releasing them day by day. So, first one's today, the next one's tomorrow. And if you're watching this in the future, they'll all be out. So True's going to fast expand, hatchery first, and let's talk a little bit about True. This guy really is a stellar macro Zerg. This is the kind of infallible player who can control a game and is very, very resistant to cheese and is a very hard player to throw off balance. True is someone who opts for early speed oftentimes in his games, overlord speed that is, and really just does not let his opponent pull one over on him. He favors this Queen Ling style that we see frequently, and he is a good creep spreader, and he's a very good macro player. That's what his focus is on, is macro play. He also does a lot of Zergling drops, which I feel like is very hard to deal with, especially at the lower leagues, because you just never expect it. Especially if you've been playing the game since Wings of Liberty, and you're kind of trained, like, oh, the only way Zerg can get in is through my wall, basically. And Lings just appear in your base before the Zerg can even have a Nidus out. It's weird. And True takes good advantage of that. He's making 2 Lings and a Queen at each base. Polt has his first Reaper coming across the map. And I'm sure almost everyone already knows who Polt is, but I'll talk a bit about him. He's one of the most winning players, Charlie Sheen-like, in all of StarCraft 2. He's also from Korea. However, Polt has been living in America for a few years now. He goes to the University of Texas in Austin. And Polt has won a GSL Super Tournament. He's won WCS America. He's won multiple lands. He's won over 400 grand in the game, rivaling that of Stefano and MVP and Nesty and those elite players. True made preemptive Lings to stop the Zergling harass, as we see speed for Overlords coming for True, and amazing prediction there. True knowing where the Reaper is going to go and not letting it happen. True has 2 queens at the front of his ramp to defend against harass, and I'm sure a tumor and an inject will go down shortly. We saw
upgrade complete.
True scouted up but got blocked in. And one important thing to note is that Polt is going for this flavor of a month stim timing. Basically, the entire point of this build is to get these fast 2 barracks, pump out Gem Rainers until you have about 16. Your stim pack will finish, and then you will lift your reactored factory away, swap it with the starport, and get 2 fast medevacs. True did not see that. He just saw the starport. So he did not see the second barracks. So True could think this is Banshee or something, but the linchpin of this build is this stim. Because as soon as this finishes, Polt will be able to drop. So he's going to swap a Rue here. Oh god, he just cancelled stim. By accident. He tried to lift these buildings and accidentally lifted his racks. So, I mean, that's really bad. Probably game-ending mistake, if we're going to be honest. Polt was rushing up to do this fast stim timing, as we see back in Camp True. He's taken a third, he has his gold base, double upgrades, a plethora of drones, and a queen already spreaded creep to his third. Polt is trying to take a third behind this. Now this is an interesting decision, and I would venture to say the right decision. He's also walled in with E-base. So why didn't Polt go for the attack anyway, you might be asking. The entire point of this attack is to research stim almost as fast as you can, and have that stim line up right when you have 2 medevacs finish. This means that you can hit Zerg where they're vulnerable easily, because Zerg is a very positional based race when it comes to defense. They kind of rely on queens, and they'll make a few preemptive links, so if you can hit them right in the suck hole when they don't expect it, in a place where they don't expect it, as you see Polt clearing out a Overlord here, it's very powerful. Also, at the point in the game when the stem timing that Polt was attempting to do at the beginning of the game hits, Zerg might have a Baneling nest, but they're not really going to have a Roach Warren unless they know it's coming, or Roach is on the way. It hits at a very awkward time for Zerg where they're trying to tech up. And the stem pack mixed with the medevac healing makes it pure Ling very worthless for dealing with this, especially on certain maps where you can drop on the high ground and then abuse back down to the low ground. So Polt preemptively split there, but this is all a facade, because Polt just now is about to have stem pack. Okay, that means all of those attacks really were not threatening at all to go into the main. Now True didn't know that. He might be able to deduce that that's what's going on now, although Polt has stem now, so maybe not. But this is severely weak compared to what it should have been and what Polt was trying to do. And meanwhile, Polt is getting flooded with lings. His third base is going to surely have to be lifted. His wall might even die to his natural. It doesn't. He stems and pushes it away. But meanwhile, we saw True's queens clean up the medevacs of Polt, and the lings clean up the Gem Rainers. So Polt took a little bit of damage at his front door, had to lift his third, lost his wall-in, which sucks. But more importantly, the multitasking of True forced Polt to lose his drop. And if we go to income, True is beating Polt very slightly, but these are gold-based drones, so the lead is more severe than it would appear. 6 workers working at that gold base for Polt. True loses a few units. Whenever he sees the army move over, he attacks the third. A bunker going up for Polt, but Polt doesn't really have any splash except for a couple mines. He doesn't have any tanks or any mines in position to defend this third. True cancels the bunker building at the third. Polt lifts his CC and is going to go down again. But True, like I said, he likes these ling drops. And Polt had a spotting depot, but now he has to make a decision. How much of his army does he send back in the main? Because he can deduce True is going to do one of these attacks, and here it comes. Polt not really falling for it, only sending a few units into his main to deal with the drop. So Polt is continuing to hold. Meanwhile in Camp True, Hive Tech is on the way, as is 2-2 in Roach Speed and Pathogen Glands. We see 2-2 on the way for Polt as well, but it is behind ever so slightly. Polt is doing a double medevac drop. You always want to drop your opponent whenever they don't go Mutalisks, just in general as a rule of thumb. It's very hard to deal with drop harass, especially multi-prong drop harass without Mutalisks. Polt this game has done a good job staying in. He's macroed very crisply and made good efficiency of his units, and has stayed in this game despite the horrific mistake he made earlier with the stem. And this is game 1 of the best of 7. Polt is also researching defense upgrades for his his mech units, and I love this because it applies to medevacs. And if your opponent does ever go Muta, or you're fighting Queen heavy styles, the defensive upgrades on the medevacs are really useful, because oftentimes medevacs narrowly escape or almost escape and die, so that defense upgrade is actually very useful for keeping your medevacs alive when dropping. And if you think about how much it sucks to lose an entire medevac full of Marines, you know, maybe you can justify the cost of that 100 measly upgrade then. So Polt is trying to pressure the gold base, but infestors are appearing for our Zerg player, and an average one goes down, probably below average. Polt is pressuring the 5th base of True as well. True's kind of half-assed trying to break this and hold his 5th at the same time too. Polt is doing the intelligent Terran thing of pressuring each base at different times, so the Zerg has to make a decision about where to allocate their units. True made the correct decision there as he ran forward with a large portion of Ling Roach, but we see it was not without cost. Polt got the fifth base. He's flying to the fourth. Now this is really going to suck. True knows that he went to the fourth because Polt just showed him, but Polt can now pick and choose whenever he attacks this base or this base. All he has to do is click these drops over, and it's super easy. It requires almost no APM at all. Great move by Polt. Polt's also stimming forward. He tried to pick off some infestors, as you see mine shots killing some Zerg units, and Polt picking up and running. There's that drop I talked about. True had stuff ready, but Polt got the queen, didn't lose much at all. Polt stims his units forward, gets his units fungled, and loses 3 medevacs. Thankfully, he didn't lose the full one. He did lose a medevac with 3 marines. Polt is also starting +3, which is quintessential in ZVT, especially late game versus Ultralisks. Polt has also started to add on Liberators. Of course, this very inexpensive mech defensive upgrade is going to benefit his Liberators as well, so just another benefit. And keep in mind, every second these Liberators stay alive, they're just dealing absurd damage, and your opponent has to focus them, really, if they want to win the fight. True chases away a small contingency for Polt, as Polt is doing some multi-prong harass. This map is good for Terran because this location right here is very good for sieging with medevacs, sieging with medevacs and tanks and mines. And you can easily drop this base from the high ground and drop this base, which is way off on the opposite side, and really make your opponent pick and choose. Really, it's this location that makes it so good, because attacking in here is not really good for Zerg, because this can kind of be walled, this can kind of be walled, because it's easier, you can make these kind of defensive walls with Terran and Protoss that make it easier to defend than it is for Zerg. True losing a couple infestors there, which is unfortunate. That's a lot of wasted gas. As we see, True is gas starved. Polt is pressuring forward. He gets his units fungled again, and he's going to lose a medevac for his trouble. But the fungal wears off before the corrosive bile lands, and Polt escapes with one of his medevacs, almost completely full of units. Meanwhile, you attack one side and then pressure the other. Polt pressuring this side. True is trying to defend this multi-prong harass, but he doesn't really have the creep spread, I think, all the way stretched across the map to deal with it. Polt flies into the main of True as well. Meanwhile, Polt having to lift his base and loses lots of SCVs. And True is going to try to defend. Polt pre-splitting intelligently against the Infestor. As I see, that entire drop would have gotten wasted if not for the split. True loses his spawning pool, which makes it incredibly hard to defend drops because he can't make queens or lings. So you can see he's gas starved. He's not mining gas at this base, and he can't make queens or lings, which are his units that he really has to focus on whenever he's gas starved. And another fungal misses. Polt splitting his medevacs up in a cutesy way, and he's continuing to be annoying with this Marauder. Polt has a nice little defensive position established at his third with Liberators and tanks. He unsieges the Liberators and loads up into tank evacs. He's going to try to attack, as a Widow Mine cancels the expansion of True. True has a severe upgrade advantage. He also has Ultras out on the field. Polt has to be careful. Tank evacs being dropped. True's probably going to lose another base. Liberators being set up all over the tanks. And True's just going to say, okay, I'll just attack you. Ling's running forward doing just that. Polt really left nothing at his third. No Liberators, no tanks to help defend. So that made that move work out very well for True. Polt is trying to run forward with tank evacs here. He might be going for a full-fledged base trade. Tank evacs do a lot of damage, but Polt really doesn't have a whole lot of bio here, to be honest. And True's going to run over and try to kill off some of this pesky bio. Not sieging any of the Liberators because he's microing at home. True completely breaking the natural of Polt with this Ultralisk Ravager composition. Polt losing SCVs like crazy. Bane's running into all the bio, and that might be it, because Polt, simply put, isn't going to have the damage per second to kill everything that True has. Terran bio usually rips through buildings and can win base trades effectively, but True made a plethora of Banelings and annihilated what Polt had left. Polt now has his production being camped, and his Liberators almost finished, but they got corrupted. And Liberators are very obnoxious, so he might have even been able to temporarily hold on to his ramp. But he's trying to pressure with tanks. The jig is up for Polt. He's trying to float away, but he'll be able to deduce that he can't win soon. If we go to his vision, he's not really sure. Okay, well, True has this base and this base. So you can see why he's staying in the game, trying to land mules to repair. And True is cleaning out the main of Polt. Polt flying a few racks, a couple orbitals, but I don't really suspect that he'll stay in this game too much longer, honestly. Here come Ravager, Infestor, Ultra. Oh, all the medevacs being fungal, and that'll be it. As Polt loses almost all of his tanks to that fungal bile combo. Polt has established a nice little defensive position, but he doesn't really have any way to force his hand. He can't really pressure forward effectively. Leapfrogging doesn't really work that well whenever you don't have a real backbone. He has a few Marines, but another fungal comes down and he's going to lose 3 medevacs. Excuse me, 2 medevacs, almost loses a third. Polt also collapses these rocks, which is nice. He's re-establishing these liberation zones, trying to pressure forward with the Marines he could make. But Polt isn't mining. True is mining. True is mining an absurd amount of minerals. And he's going to run forward right when the leapfrog is trying to take place. Fungal almost everything and shower corrosive bile down upon it. Throws down Infested Terran just to finish the job, and Polt GG's. So if you want to see Game 2, subscribe. It'll be out tomorrow.